What's up YouTube, this is your boy, Dabs Cards. Today on my channel, I'll be showing you guys how to control the meta. What? Insane! With my Dark Magician control deck. Let's dive into these test hands. Let's get into this Dark Magician control deck. See what kind of boards we can set up. It's not really that much of a combo. It's more like a mid-range deck, but it sets up just enough to like weaken the opponent. So it's actually pretty nasty. So like Rivalry of the Warlord, this is a pretty good floodgate. It says your opponent can only control one type of monster. So like going against certain decks, that could really hurt them a lot. So you'll just set that. Woohoo! You're gonna activate Terraforming to go ahead and get the Magician Salvation, because that lets us set the Internal Soul straight from our deck. So let's go ahead and activate the Magician Salvation. And then that's going to allow us to set the Eternal Soul. And then from here, activate Soul Servant. That way we can get a card that we want on top of the deck. Let's go for the Circle. That way we got that combo going on. And this is actually pretty strong for control. So you're going to put that on top. You're going to use Tamias' effect. You can special summon him by sending a spell trap that lists Dark Magician as cost. Then you special summon. And then on summon, he doesn't really do anything, but he does have an effect where he can fusion summon. So we can activate that now. We're going to fusion summon him and the Dark Magician. And the choice is actually yours. If you want to go into a Dragoon, because he's untargetable and undestroyable, you can. But we don't really have a card in hand right now. Well, right this second, of course. But, so what I would probably do is I would probably go into the Dragon Knight and just set up control right now, because this card becomes Dark Magician while it's face up on the field, and your opponent cannot target spells and traps or destroy them. So that's actually pretty strong, because we have a nasty card on the field that they have to deal with. So I'm going to go ahead and fusion summon into the Dark Magic Knight. And then activate the effect of Soul Servant in Grave to banish for cost to draw one. Because one Dark Magician in the graveyard. So you draw one. Ooh, would you know, we got the Internal Soul. You could actually activate that now. So I guess we could have went into Dragoon if you really wanted to. But we'd have to have a hit. And as you see, we didn't have a hit. So I'm going to put the Illusion of Chaos on top and then draw into that next turn. So this deck is really good at stacking. You could stack your cards and draw into what you want. You know, Heart of the Cards. So on our opponent's turn, you have a Floodgate, which is protected by the Dragon Knight. As soon as you flip Internal Soul, he's protected by all card effects, because Internal Soul protects Dark Magician in my monster zone and makes it unaffected by my opponent's card effects, which is insane. And we have one form of interruption right now, so they can't even get rid of this if they wanted to. So, well, I mean, I guess if they had Smasher, they can banish it. But regardless, you activate Circle. You bring back your Dark Magician on your opponent's turn. I mean, not Circle, Soul. That'll trigger Circle. And Circle, you get to banish one of your opponent's cards. It's insane. Second test hand. See what kind of board we can make. Goes and Match. Souls, Mystic Mind, Rod, and Internal Souls. All right. Pretty interesting. So we can set up a Mystic Mind control variant right now. So we can go ahead and set the Goes and Match, you know, which means every player can only control one attribute. That could be pretty nasty. So if like their starter's a different attribute than like every other monster in their deck, then you hit their starter with the Goes and Match, and then they're pretty much locked out of their decks. So like if, you know, in Splights, if they start with the Beaver or something, you lock them into like Waters. It's insane. From here, you can set the Internal Soul. That way, you know, we have, we can get Dark Magician back from the grave, and he becomes unaffected by every card effect. And then we can go ahead and normal summon Rod. Rod's effect, we can go ahead and search for, let's search for the quick play Soul Servant. That way we can activate it on our opponent's turn to trigger Rod's effect. So go ahead and set the Soul Servant. So all these cards are set. We'll go ahead and activate the Mystic Mine. And that way we can get the Mystic Mind control going. And then Soul Servant, we can actually use that on our opponent's turn to stack our deck. So from here, we're going to go ahead and link off our monster into Artemis. And that way we have a spellcaster on the field. And then we'll leave Souls in hand for next turn for follow-up. So on our opponent's turn, whenever they summon a monster, so let's say they summon a monster, and they try to go to end phase, to get rid of our Mystic Mind, what you're going to do is you could actually activate the Soul Servant, and they're under goals and match. So this is actually pretty hard to get over. So we already have full control, unless they have like the outs, obviously. Anyway, so you activate the Soul Servant. You'll chain the Soul Servant with the Rod, so you can tribute the Artemis and then get Rod back to hand. And then now you don't have any monsters on the field. And then chain one will resolve after you stack your deck. And now your opponent's stuck with the monster on their side of the field, and you have no monsters on your side of the field. So they still have to play through this, which is kind of annoying. Third test hand here. See what kind of board we can set up this time. We got Dark Magician, Magician's Souls, Circles, Internals, and the Illusion of Chaos. Alright, so this looks like we're going to get this little combo going. And then since we have this, we should protect it so our opponents can't get rid of it so easy. And then that way we can just start snowballing advantage by using the circle to keep banishing their key monsters. So, activate Illusion of Chaos. Go ahead and get this guy to hand. And then this goes on top of the deck. Summon Souls by sending Dark Magician for cost. And just special summon. We'll activate Internal Soul. Go ahead and look at the top 3 cards. Wild! Dude, who shuffled this? And then you can put them back in any order you want. That was wild. Anyway, so you can go ahead and set the Internal Soul. Wild. So now you got a form of interruption on your opponent's turn. Use Soul, bring back the Dark Magician, triggers the circle, and then you can banish your opponent's monster. Do this on their key monsters. That way it has the biggest impact. Don't do that just willy-nilly. You know what I'm saying? And so from here, we can actually just go ahead and fusion summon. So we'll use Timaeus' effect to special summon him by sending to the grave a monster that lists Dark Magician on it. And so we summon Timaeus. Timaeus' effect, we can go ahead and fusion these two into the Dragonite. And that way the Dragonite protects the circle. It also protects your Internal Soul. And the Internal Soul protects the Dragonite. So everything's Gucci gang. And if you also, on your turn, the Eternal Soul could search like Dark Magic Attack. That way you can clear out your opponent's back row. So if they're playing like Outledge or something, or a trap-based deck like Labyrinth, just like clear it out. And then also on your opponent's turn, like I said, you got the Eternal Soul, so you could just keep bringing back Dark Magicians. And then like linking them off, using them as utility. Let's get into this last test hand here. See what kind of boards we can make. You got Summon Limit, Rivalry of the Warlords, Terraforming, Goes in Match, the Illusion of Chaos. This is wild. So this is definitely just a full control. So Goes in Match, locks your opponent into 1 attribute. Already know that. Rivalry of the Warlord, lock him into 1 type. So now they're going to have a very hard time playing Yu-Gi-Oh! They might just scoop if they don't have the out. Summon Limit, you know, that way either player can only summon more than twice. And so what you do is you wait until they summon 2 monsters, and then you flip this on them, and they weren't even expecting it. And now they're like, oh, okay, I guess I passed my turn. And so from here, go ahead and activate the Illusion of Chaos. That way we can start getting cards to hand. Really, you can get it whatever you want. This is probably just put up a little bit of defense to help protect my board a little bit. So we're going to add this to Set that back on top. And then from here, let's go ahead and activate the terraforming. We'll grab the, if you want to grab, you know, like Village of the Spellcasters or Mystic Mine. Village of the Spellcasters would actually protect these from getting destroyed by spells, because your opponent would actually have to control a spellcaster in order to destroy these. So that's not bad actually. We could do that. But what I would probably do is probably to try to draw one. I'm gonna try to draw one by getting Magician's Salvation. So that's now resolved. We're gonna activate Magician's Salvation to set the Eternal Soul. Cool. And remember, Eternal Soul can always search the Dark Magic attack. It's just a cool little feature. So we'll use Magician's Soul's effect. Send our Dark Magician for cost. See if our opponent has a response. And then let's go ahead and summon Magician's Souls. We can use Soul's effect. Send the field spell because we don't need it anymore. And then just draw once. See what we draw into. Oh, look, Preparation Rites. We could use the Preparation Rites and just get ready for next turn. Add the Illusion of Chaos. So Preparation Rites is almost like a Rhoda for this deck, because it can search Rod, it can search Souls through the Illusion of Chaos. And then Rod can search any spell and trap that lists Dark Magician. So this deck is like super consistent. And then, yeah, I mean, from here, you're pretty much solid. You can link off if you wanted to into like a Link Karibo. But I'm just going to leave it like that and then pass turn to my opponent. So on my opponent's turn, they can't summon more than twice, and they're locked into one attribute and one type. And then on top of that, we still got a Dark Magician that can come back from the grave through the effect of Eternal Soul, giving us a little bit of advantage. And then we can always use the Illusion of Chaos on our turn to fusion summon into like Dragoon or something, pop one, start attacking, getting advantage.
Thanks for watching, YouTube. If you guys liked the video, go ahead and leave a like. If you guys got any comments at all, leave them in the comment section down below. If you guys haven't yet subscribed, make sure to subscribe and ding the notification bell. That way you guys don't miss out on any future content. Alright, that's all I got for you. Shout out.
Do a dangerous thing with style. That's what I call art.